Khamenei personally issued shoot-to-kill orders with explicit instructions to show no mercy, transforming nationwide protests into a massacre. He openly acknowledged tens of thousands dead under his direct command, marking one of the worst state-sponsored bloodbaths in modern history. Khamenei is the central architect of this crime against humanity. Decisive action is needed before they can continue their genocidal quest, wrote Iranian Americans for Liberty on X. Iran protests records the names the Islamic Republic wants forgotten. Iran protests publishes and continuously updates the verified list of those killed during Iran's 2026 national uprising, document the names, ages, locations, causes of death, and family testimonies to preserve evidence of state violence. Iran Protests is an independent documentation-focused project launched in November 2019 to archive protest data, victims of repression and human rights violations, ensuring these crimes are recorded and not erased, wrote Iranian Americans for Liberty on X. A judiciary-linked news agency announced that Hamidreza Sabit Esmailpour, a political prisoner, was executed at dawn on Wednesday, January 28th, on charges of spying for Israel. According to reports, Hamidreza Sabit was arrested on April 29, 2025, on allegations of cooperation with Mossad. Authorities announced his execution without releasing any clear details about the judicial process. Ali Salehi, the Tehran prosecutor, rejected reports about the cancellation of death sentences for protesters and said, "Our approach is firm, deterrent and swift," adding that a large number of cases have resulted in indictments and have been sent to court. These remarks come as in recent days reports had circulated about the possible cancellation of hundreds of death sentences in Iran, while at the same time concerns have grown over an intensification of judicial repression during the national uprising. Based on information received amid intensified repression and widespread arrests during the national uprising, dozens of doctors, nurses, and medical staff in various cities across Iran have been arrested by Islamic Republic security agencies. Reports indicate that in recent days, IRGC intelligence agents and law enforcement forces have raided several hospitals and arrested a number of doctors and nurses. In addition, some physicians have been arrested following attacks by security forces on their homes or private clinics. Names reported among those detained include Ehsan Ahmadi, Sobhan Ismail Doust, Ghazal Omidi, Babak Puramin, Saber Dehqan, Alireza Rezai, Amene Soleimani, Abdulreza Hosseini, Fariba Hosseini, Shamsi Abbas Alizadeh, Alireza Golchini, and Farhad Nadali. According to these reports, the arrest of the medical staff is directly linked to their role in treating injured protesters, many of whom were wounded by direct gunfire and violence carried out by repressive forces. Treating the wounded and documenting bullet wounds and injuries is viewed by security agencies as exposing the true scale of the killings and challenging the government's official narrative. The arrest of doctors and nurses is described as a clear attempt to enlist fear, cut off independent medical aid, and prevent the documentations of crimes and action that constitutes a blatant violation of human rights and the fundamental principles of medical ethics. Based on information received, Asal Shakeri, a 23-year-old citizen from Tabriz, was killed on the evening of Friday, 9th of January, during the national uprising, after being directly shot with a live round by Islamic Republic repressive forces. Reports indicate that the bullet struck her in the uterine area and killed her instantly, a crime that did not even spare the body of a woman who had previously emerged victorious from a battle with cancer. Asal Shakeri was a photographer and videographer, and those close to her have described her as a symbol of hope and resilience. According to available information, her body was handed over to the family after 12 days under heavy security pressure. According to reports, the late Rosita Farrokhzadeh, 32, a mechanical engineer living in Tehran and originally from Rasht, was shot in the side by Islamic Republic security forces on the evening of Thursday, 8th of January, in the Sadeghieh, known as Marzdaran area, during the national uprising, and was killed. Sources close to her say Rosita was on the street with her sister. After she was shot, her sister carried her wounded body on a motorcycle and rushed her to the hospital, but Rosita had already passed away before they arrived. Rosita Farrokhzadeh owned a classic car repair shop, and her friends remember her as a hard-working engineer and a beloved figure among her colleagues. According to received information, Hamid Arzanloo and Vahid Arzanloo, two entrepreneur brothers and well-known figures in Iran's furniture industry, were shot dead by Islamic Republic security forces during the national uprising on Friday night, January 9th, in Tehran Pars, Tehran. During the shooting, Hamid Arzanloo was critically wounded by a bullet to the head and fell into a coma. His brother, Vahid Arzanloo, rushed to help him and was shot twice in the neck, leaving him in a coma as well. Hamid died on January 11th after being unconscious. Vahid passed away in the hospital on January 17th. Two brothers were killed, one bleeding on the ground and the other shot while trying to save him. Reports say security agencies demanded 1.5 billion tomans from the family to release their bodies and forced them to sign a pledge declaring the cause of death as a stroke. The family was also reportedly required to attend a state-organized march at Enqilab Square as a condition for receiving the bodies. Vahid Arzanloo was the father of 3 young children, and Hamid Arzanloo was the father of 2. Their children are now the silent victims of this deadly repression. According to reports, Diana Bahadur, known as Baby Rider, 19, from Gonbad Kavus in Golestan province, was shot dead by Islamic Republic security forces on the evening of Friday, January 9th, in Gorgan during the national uprising. Diana, who loved motorcycling, was killed during the protests. A source close to her family says authorities have continued the return of her body on listing the cause of death as a traffic accident, a claim her friends and relatives strongly denied, insisting she was killed in the uprising. According to received information, Venus Hossein Nejad, a Baha'i citizen and resident of Kerman, was arrested by Islamic Republic security forces, and her whereabouts remain unknown. Reports say she was detained at her workplace on January 15th. More than 10 days after her arrest, her family and relatives still have no information about her physical condition, legal status, or place of detention. The continued lack of information about her fate has heightened concerns over escalating security pressure on religious minorities and the ongoing use of arbitrary arrests in Iran. According to received information, Regine Hossein Nejad, a Baha'i citizen, was arrested by Islamic Republic security forces on Saturday, January 24th, in the city of Kerman and taken to an unknown location. Reports say that during her arrest, security agents also confiscated several personal and family belongings, including mobile phones and laptops. Ghazaleh Rayat, a Baha'i citizen living in Mashhad, was arrested by Islamic Republic security forces in late January and is being held in limbo at Vakilabad prison. According to reports, she was arrested at her workplace in Mashhad and later taken to the city's intelligence office after her home was searched. She remains detained in Vakilabad prison without any clear charges or former judicial status. Sabah Bakhtiari, the aunt of the late Puya Bakhtiari, announced on her social media accounts the re-arrest and transfer of her brother, Manucher Bakhtiari, to Bandar Abbas prison. According to her post, Manucher Bakhtiari informed his family by phone about the details of his re-arrest. He stated that the interrogators in his case are Mohsen Rustai and Ali Reza Farzaneh, and that Judge Motamedi of Branch 12 has issued a bail order set at 5 billion tomans. This comes despite the fact that the Bakhtiari family has 4 years been under intense security pressure, repeated arrests, confiscation of property, and non-return of previous bail amounts, leaving them effectively unable to provide such a sum. In such cases, bail has become a tool for economic pressure and punishment against justice-seeking families. The charges brought against him include calling for violence and bloodshed, connections with the leader of a terrorist group, and correspondence with Donald Trump. These are vague, repetitive, and unclear accusations that have long been used against civil activists and justice-seeking families and are clearly incompatible with the principle of a fair trial. According to information received, Farzad Qaderi, an MMA champion from the city of Nur in Mazandaran province, was shot and arrested by Islamic Republic security forces on the evening of January 8th during the national uprising in the Izzat Shahr area of Mazandaran in front of Lamis. According to these reports, Farzad Qaderi was present among the crowd when government forces attacked him and after opening fire took him away. No clear information has so far been released about his exact place of detention or the authority responsible for his arrest. Sources close to the case say that the last update indicates that his legs have developed an intentional and untreated infection. This has raised serious concerns about efforts to deliberately worsen his physical condition and even the risk of amputation. Farzad Qaderi's life is in serious danger, and his family and loved ones are demanding immediate clarification of his situation. Yashar Tabrizi, a monarchist political activist based in Tabriz, has been detained for more than 10 days in connections with the national uprising, and no information has so far been made available about his place of detention or his physical, legal, or health condition. According to the information received, Yashar Tabrizi was arrested by security forces on January 9th during the national uprising in Tabriz. Reports also indicate that on January 13th, agents of the IRGC intelligence organization raided his home, searched the premises, and confiscated several of his personal belongings, including the mobile phones and electronic equipment. As of the time of this report, despite repeated follow-ups, Yashar Tabrizi's family remains completely unaware of his whereabouts, the reasons for his arrest, or the charges brought against him. This situation has heightened concerns about the risk of torture, pressure to extract forced confessions, and denial of his most basic rights. A shared video from Thursday night, January 8th, shows Islamic Republic security forces opening direct fire from the rooftop of a police station in Mashhad. According to initial information, the footage likely comes from the half-tier police station, where officers are seen shooting down at people from above. A video shared shows moments from the evening of Thursday, January 8th, in Mashhad, where Islamic Republic security forces turned this city into a scene of pursuit and gunfire by shooting directly at protesting citizens. The person who shared this video says protesters were forced to take shelter to escape the hail of bullets from government forces. Raising the lion and sun flag in the Chitgar area of Tehran. A shared video from Tabriz during Iran's national uprising shows citizens chanting "Azerbaijan is alert and awake" and stands behind the Pahlavi family.
شبنم میشینه رو غبار جاده ها وقتی هر خاطره